It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, January 15th. Okay, so we have the moon in Leo energy here all day. However, the moon is going to go void, of course, at 11:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we're not locking into Virgo energy until 11:47 a.m. on January 16th. Now that is a huge chunk of time, pretty much 12 hours that the moon is going to be void, of course, creating instability, creating questioning, creating uncertainty, especially where our heart space is concerned, because of course the moon in Leo energy is the heart and soul of the zodiac. So here we've been trying to get heart aligned. We've been trying to tap into our boldness, our bravery, our courage. We've been trying to express ourselves. We've been trying to tap in to new levels of creativity. And just as we kind of find it, the moon is going to go void and we're going to start kind of falling apart, questioning everything that we felt so solid about as we were getting heart aligned, as we were tapping into these new energies and trying to figure out where our passion is, where our desire is, where triggers and activations taking place in our heart space are taking place in order to push us on and push us forward. So we have to prepare for that. Now, we do have a beautiful day of positive and not so positive activations to help us kind of refine our heart space, our vision, our values, our priorities, our passions. But again, when the moon goes void, especially for 12 hours, especially the transition from Leo energy into Virgo energy, which is moving us out of the heart space into the head space in order for us to pick things apart, to break things down, to beat ourselves up, to kind of see where it is that some improvements, some adjustments need to be made. Now, of course, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, just trying to tell you that the moon in Virgo is where we kind of start, I'm going to say, dissecting a lot of the good vibes that we're able to establish while the moon is in Leo energy. We understand where the pull from our heart space, our soul space, is in the Leo energy. And then we move up into the mental plane. We start picking things apart. We start kind of, second guessing everything. And here's the real interesting part is that when the moon does shift into this Virgo energy here tomorrow, this is going to be an interesting vibe because now that the nodes of the moon are on this Pisces and Virgo axis, we're going to have the moon meet up with this Virgo energy, which is going to be a huge activation and trigger, a blast from the past, illuminating for us where it is that we're the problem. We're creating the mental anxiety that doesn't need to be there. We're the ones speaking the fears into the goals, visions, and dreams that our higher self knows to be true. It's going to be a very interesting vibe to kind of test these parameters, test these waters, if you will, that we're going to be wading through for the next 18 months. So with all of that being said, there are 11 different aspects taking place here today. 10 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon in this Leo energy going to sextile, which is a beautiful interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings. Of course, he's retrograde, looking back, reflecting, reanalyzing, reassessing. And in Gemini energy, it has to do with old ideas, old information, old knowledge, old perspectives, old life lessons that, again, we have to pluck those silver linings out of and really integrate into practice the present moment here and now so that we can prevent ourselves from making those same mistakes, those same repetitive decisions, choices, and behaviors. Now, this is fire and air. We love that for us because fire and air work very well together. They come together to create a spark, a fire, a flame. This is going to give us a burst of energy in our heart space, in our head space, to see where it is that we have huge options and opportunities for growth, for new passion, for new creativity, where it is that we're seeing the options, the opportunities magnified right now. And again, take a good look at what it is that you're resisting, where it is that you're seeing obstacles and challenges. That is actually what you need to be leaning into. That is the growth point. That is the evolution point. That is the path, the direction that you need to be walking. So this is going to magnify our hype, where we're feeling bold, brave, and courageous, where we're tapping into new levels of creativity, new passion, new desire. It's going to be a good vibe. It's going to illuminate for us where it is that a new interest is forming, and therefore, a new passion pursuit is beginning as well. The moon is then going to make a very uncomfortable interaction with Venus. Venus, of course, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. She's in Pisces energy right now. She is kind of, in love with love. She is in this delusion of confusion right now, trying to figure out what she wants, what she needs, what she desires, especially for a futuristic, let's call it dream, goal, and vision, where her safety and security, her stability, especially in her emotional realm, especially in her relationship realm, and her financial realm, where that is spotlight. Okay, so the Pisces energy is helping us to kind of, process our inner realm of emotion, kind of see where it is that certain chapters are ending, specifically with, I'm going to call them shallow connections in relationship dynamics, where it is that certain chapters, especially with the way that we've been going about making money, going about kind of, taking care of ourselves, where certain chapters have to end, because Pisces energy does bring things to an ending, to a close, in preparation for a new beginning. And when we do the emotional work to kind of process what needs to stay, what needs to go, not only can we come to a certain term of acceptance on what we're releasing and removing, but we then instantly get to align with our intuition. We get a download of a goal, vision, and dream that now our heart space, soul space wants us to pursue. The moon interacting with Venus in this way, definitely putting us all up in that heart space, all up in the feels. If you need to listen to the ascension forecast for this week to understand what heart activations are, you definitely going to do that, because this is going to illuminate where things aren't so happy, where we're not feeling so hot, where we're not feeling so safe, secure, stable, where it is that we're not feeling that passion, that desire, that spiritual pull to continue to pour into people, places, and things that, of course, are not pouring back into us. We have to have these illuminations in order to figure out where it is that the energy is dying off, where it is that the chapter is coming to an end and a close, and where it is that we've learned whatever lesson certain people, places, and things initially presented in our lives in order to teach us. The moon is then going to make a very awkward interaction, first with Neptune, then with the North Node in Pisces. The North Node, again, very, very close to Neptune. We are, at this particular stage of the game, having to go through a deep emotional purge in order to figure out where it is that parts of old self, and therefore parts of the realm and reality that old version of self had built and created, where they need to fall apart, where we need to let them go, in order for this refresh, this renewal of our soul and our spirit, of our intuitive vision, if you will, actually has more of a place to flourish. That North Node is trying to get us on the right path, throwing us into spirituality, throwing us into getting in touch with our feels, throwing us into a brand new healing chapter where our heart space is concerned. The moon is then going to make a very tough interaction with Saturn. Saturn being the lord of karma, ruling over roles, responsibilities, systems, structures, foundations, willpower, and discipline. And of course, in Pisces energy, we're trying to wrap up a 30-year karmic chapter. We're trying to wrap up a 2.5-year chapter. We're trying to put the old world behind us, the old version of self behind us, so that we can, in this new version of self, start building towards new earth. The Saturn in Pisces energy is here to dissolve the old physical world, here to dissolve the old ways of doing things, here to dissolve the old belief system that the old version of self was created out of, and therefore created the physical realm that we're currently trying to put behind us for good, so that again we can focus all of our energy on bringing new earth, whatever that means to us in our own individual lives. And of course that's going to spill over into the collective. Whatever that means to us, we have to bring a new foundation into form. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Mercury. Mercury being the ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves. Mercury is in Capricorn energy, a little bit of a negative Nancy narrative, very serious, very somber, has the blinders on in order to focus on what needs to be done. Specifically, what needs to be done in order to remove and release a lot of the old attachments, a lot of the old world structures, old routines, old ideas, in order for us to again double down on pouring into the new. The moon is our heart space. Mercury is our head space. They're working together in order to come up with a passion, a desire, an excitement in our heart space of what it is that we want to do, what we want to pursue for the long term. That's that Capricorn energy. And when you allow yourself to kind of project yourself into a futuristic goal, vision, and dream of what that looks like, and then you bring yourself back into the present moment, suddenly you can look around and see who and what needs to go. The moon is then going to trine, which is a beautiful interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is direct now in Aries energy. This is fire on fire action. We love fire working together. First of all, it helps to burn away the junk and the gunk of the emotional pain and trauma, the mental pain and trauma that we've been very aware of, that we've been sitting in, that we have to shed, we have to release, we have to let go of in order to have that fire. Reignite a fire, a spark, a flame within us, a passion, a desire within us, an excitement, motivation, determination within us in order to actually do better and be better. Chiron, because he is the wounded healer, being aspected in a positive way, we're focused on how we can grow, how we can evolve, how we can heal, how we can boss up, how we can do better, how we can be better, how we can improve in our own energy. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Neptune, who of course is in his rulership in this Pisces energy, tapping us into our spirituality, into the metaphysical realm, where dreams and creativity and intuitive insights are the name of the game. This is a beautiful energy because we're heart aligned. We have an excitement, a passion, a desire that we're cultivating in our inner realm. And even more than that, we're feeling spiritually aligned with a new goal, vision, and dream that, again, we're very excited to kind of get down to actually start pursuing in a particular, let's call it green light, go ahead situation that's coming at us here in a couple of weeks. Right now, it's important to refine the vision, to get very specific on the details, to hold that particular emotion of excitement, of passion, of desire in order to start manifesting this. We do have the sun, though, in Capricorn energy, coming into a direct opposition with Mars. Mars is the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger. Mars is retrograde. Again, his ass is sat on the bench. He's no longer an active participant out in the external realm unless there are actions and moves to be made that are going to help us kind of remove, provide closure to a lot of the things that aren't working. A lot of the things that, again, are kind of creating a lot of emotional instability within us. We're trying to kind of reassess where it is that our emotional foundation needs to be nurtured, needs to be strengthened, where it is that there's some major changes going on in our home, in our family dynamic, in our goals, in our visions, in our dreams, in our passions, in our desires, in the drive, the emotional drive that we are using in order to pursue new passions, goals, and desires. Now, here's the thing. The sun usually only opposes Mars when he's in a retrograde. That's just the only time that the alignment happens. And so this is a powerful one because, of course, the sun in Capricorn energy showing us where it is, futuristically speaking, that we definitely want to build something new. Where the system, structures, and foundations need to be built in order to house the goal, the vision, the dream that we want to be manifesting. Mars, though, again, bringing restlessness, bringing frustration, bringing anger. There could be some impulsivity here. We do not want to act on that. We do not want to throw a tantrum. Again, Mars being the, let's call it, god of war. He's a little bit on edge all the time. He rules over Aries energy. That's the first sign of the zodiac. That is the, let's call it, toddler energy of the zodiac, because we're able to throw a tantrum and come back to a stable point within 60 seconds or less. There is a restlessness, there's an edginess to us that we're just not content with, and we may throw a tantrum to get our own way. And are we going to get our own way? Probably not. You're going to get punished for it. But if you're silly enough to act on impulse and react out of ego, then you probably shouldn't be getting what it is that you want. So just kind of understand that the way that we are going about getting what we want right now actually matters. And instead of throwing a tantrum and being childish and acting on impulse and taking action without, very careful thought, you're going to make a mess for yourself. That is my cautionary note. And you have the ability to either mess up the ability to build a new system, structure, foundation for your long-term goals, or you're destroying the foundation that is already strong enough for you to take the next step. Be very careful with this particular energy. We have the moon in Leo making a very positive interaction with that north node in Pisces. We love this. Again, if you haven't really done your homework on what this north node in Pisces is all about, there's an astro class that you can take. There is a whole 2025 year ahead overview workshop that you can kind of throw yourself into. This is very important chapter. The moon aligning with the north node in Pisces in this way is getting us heart aligned, getting us spiritually aligned, spiritually in tune with what it is that our higher self wants us to do, wants us to pursue. And we're feeling the activations, the excitement, the motivation in our physical bodies, in our heart space. We are pumped. We are hyped. We are building the boldness, the bravery, the courage that we're going to need to throw ourselves into a new path, into a new chapter, into a new direction. At 11:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon in this Leo energy is going to get into the boxing ring and square off with Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. He is retrograde, so looking back, reassessing, reanalyzing. And in Taurus energy, it's taking a good look back at our physical realms, what it is that we built and created, what it is that we're no longer in alignment with, what it is that we're resisting letting go, and where it is that we got to boss up, do better, and be better. So of course, the square is highlighting where we're going through a growing pain. We have this square because Leo energy and Taurus energy are fixed signs. Fixed signs don't want to change. Fixed signs want to stabilize and make things perfectly comfortable where it is that we're at. But there's this energy building within us that knows that change is the name of the game. And therefore, we have to kind of get out of our own damn way, which is very hard to do with fixed energy, in order for us to realize that, again, Uranus has us looking back, questioning why we're overly attached to keeping things that have literally served their purpose, that have taught us the life lessons that we need, why we haven't been able to let that go yet, why it's still a part of our energy, why it still consumes our mind, why we're still putting physical time, energy, and effort into keeping these things alive. Now, this is going to be a trigger to the heart space. It has to be. We have to have our feelings hurt, and in most cases, we have to hurt our own damn feelings in order for us to realize that, guess what, we're the problem. So if you want to move on and you're having a hard time doing so, please take a good look at where it is that you're holding fear, doubt, and insecurity of letting a lot of the things that became your comfort blanket, your security blanket, where you're having a hard time letting those things go. You have to lean into your heart space and trust the plan. You have to trust that when you remove the things that you've outgrown, that signals to the universe that, guess what, you're ready. They've created space in order for new things to actually arrive. And this would be the point where not only does there need to be a major shift in your emotions, in your mental plane, to reframe where your attachments are actually blocking you, but there's got to be a shift in your mood and your attitude to get out of your own damn way and actually let those things stay in the past so that you can focus all your time, energy, and attention on building something new. It is also at this particular point that the moon is going to go void of course, which means that we're ending the day with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of instability, a lot of anxiety, a lot of questioning. And again, we are going to have major aspects really kind of punch this particular tough love life lesson home as we move into the 16th. We sit in that void for a huge amount of time. And of course, we shift into that Virgo energy, which is going to help us kind of pick things apart, break things down in order for us to, again, identify the problem so we can fix it.